All right, guys, come on in. We got a great one today. Today, I'm joined by one half of arguably the greatest tag team in WCW history, if I'm being honest here. A WWE Hall of Famer, member of Harlem Heat, and somebody who's never afraid to tell it exactly like it is. He's a great shooter. All right, everybody, help me welcome in Stevie Ray.
What's up, guys? What's
How you
going on,
doing?
man? Good to see you.
Man, it's good to see you again too. I'm so excited for this. Man, with me and this guy, we got so much stuff coming up. We got a show coming up on the 16th on his channel, and
Yes.
it's gonna be special. And so we wanted to get together even before that, just to kick it a little bit. But yeah, Stevie, if you want to talk about what we're going to talk about on your show on the 16th, let these people know.
Mhm. Well, something that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. For years, I've been getting into debates with people, black, white, men, women, all through the whole spectrum about the O.J. Simpson case, the O.J. Simpson 9 months of what I call a psyop. It's what I call a psyop. And I've been studying the case since everything went down, man. And I didn't know that my man, Mr. Otunga, was a person that wasn't buying into all the propaganda. And I was like, brother, I know we clicked when we first met as professional wrestlers, but clicking on something like this, something totally different for me. So I was like, we got to do a show together. So next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, Mr. David Otunga and myself are going to give all the things that we know about this case and try to change some minds or just enlighten people, enlighten people on how things really, really work in this thing of which we call the entertainment business, which both of us are so enthralled in because of our careers. But I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I've been going back through my notes, researching, and man, I tell you, I still go back and forth. Like if I were to sum it up, I'll say this. This is what I do know. I do know that evidence was tampered with and planted.
Yes.
There is very clear-cut evidence of that. Now, as far as the perpetrator, I go back and forth on whether OJ had any involvement in it, all the involvement in it, or somewhere in between. But I do know, even if he had a part in it, he was framed in a way. Whether, I mean, you can still frame a guilty person or somebody that was part of it. But man, I really like. There's different theories and things that come up and that have some validity to it. But then there's also so much evidence that people never heard that wasn't introduced at trial. That's how court cases are. And I don't think people normally realize that is, and this is the legal perspective of it. There can be a lot of things that happen, a lot of evidence that's collected, but if it doesn't make it into that trial, the mainstream people don't know about it. And they just take the narrative of whatever is put forth. And especially in this case, this was so narrative driven. I was 14 when this happened. And I remember at the time, being a kid, but just thinking, oh, OJ is this superstar. Everybody likes him. And then his wife was killed. But why is everybody just saying he's guilty right away? And it was like, and I remember thinking that, like, this is a clear rush to judgment. And I think that's part of what started just this narrative and swayed people, where they basically convicted him in the court of public opinion before even looking at any facts.
And that's one of the reasons why I call it a psyop.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I call it a psyop, because the narrative of the media is the biggest mouth in the world.
Yeah.
We can see that today more than yesterday. So this thing that we see today of so many people, so many talking heads that's actually regurgitating the same thing over and over again. This goes all the way back to Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels. If you really think about it, this goes all the way back to then, as to when they were trying to spread Nazism over a whole country to make everybody into an occultist type mentality. And everything we do is right, even when it's wrong. So being the kind of person that has studied military history and history in general, I see a lot of these same things as it pertains to not just the O.J. Simpson trial, but so many other different things over the years. But this one to me was the first one. You got to remember, back in these days, I'm on the road 300 days a year. You know, you were 14, I was in the ring, baby, hanging and banging in every town in the continental United States of America, in Mexico and Puerto Rico and Canada, you know, and then in Europe and Australia, in the Orient. So, you know, it was tough back in them days, man. That's why you see so many of us today can barely walk, you know. We're not like your generation, man. You guys had it all, man. But I ain't saying nothing bad about that. But hey, if it was time to go to the doctor, you get up and say, hey, man, I'm going to the doctor. In my day, you go, if you had to go to the doctor, brother, it's better be something wrong with you. You know, or everybody look at you with the side eye, you know. Right. That was the difference, though. But in essence, you know, I'm in a hotel. Well, you got to realize, I was a kid when O.J. Simpson was doing his thing in football. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He wasn't my favorite player, but everybody liked him because he's O.J.
Right.
So when this whole thing came down, me being a fan of his as a kid, me being a fan of his as a young man, me being a fan of his when he was doing his commentary and stuff like that with Monday Night Football and ABC and stuff like that. Hey, man, I'm just glad to see an athletic brother do good. You know, I never had any ill will toward him or anything like that. But when this happened, I really got into it because it was on court TV every day and I'm on the road every day. So I'm watching it every day.
Yeah.
That was the luxury I had that a lot of other people didn't have. They had to come home from work and then they hear the talking heads talking about what they had pretty much seen in court today. So, and my brother can attest to this too, because we both was infixed on it. And then when we start watching the trial, I don't know how many months before the trial started. You remember the Jerry Lewis telethon?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, me and my brother had to do 3 cities here in Texas and go donate money to the Jerry Lewis telethon. We had to go to Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, and I live in Houston. So we had a handler. You know, when you do stuff like that, you always got your handler. Mm-hmm. Our handler was a defense attorney like yourself. And he also was a white gentleman. And some kind of way we was going to, because, you know, they got us on the private jet going from city to city. So we have to go to general aviation after every deal. In some kind of way, our handler, I don't know if we said something about the trial or whatever. He started talking about it, and he started telling us that this man was not guilty. Mm. And this was the first time we had ever heard that from somebody. The guy was an attorney. And he started explaining things to us back then. As I never forget this like it was yesterday. We walk into the plane on the tarmac, you know what I'm saying? And he was explaining all this stuff. Me and my brother looking at each other like, wow, I never heard it put like this with so much passion before. Then we get on the plane, and, you know, fly to the next city and stuff like that and come back. And the guy was still telling us about that. And so after that is when myself, I don't know about my brother, that's when I really start paying attention to what I was watching on television. And when we watch that all day, we go wrestle that night, come back from wrestling, put the TV back on, and we're looking at these talking heads in a panel, and we would listen to them and go, is that what we saw today? We didn't see that, you know, what they're saying. So David, you there?
Yeah, we lost him for a quick second.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes his computer crashes.
Oh, okay. I do mine live, so.
Oh, we're live as well. We're just gonna fill a little.
Okay, can you hear
for him to come back? I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay. So you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I think there is something to be said about the perspective of a media diet, especially in the 90s when it was much more controlled.
Most definitely.
When somebody who actually watches the trial, or at least like is able to follow closer the coverage of the trial, what their perspective is versus someone who didn't.
Or not so much if they didn't, but they can control the net. You're right, 100%. You're talking about somebody that didn't watch the trial, but you're 100% right. So the person that didn't watch, when they come home, what are they getting? The talking heads, and the whole narrative's been changed. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm crazy. Me and my brother, we're thinking that's not what we saw today. That the defense did this and the defense said this. Then when we get home from wrestling, we're looking at CNN late that night or one of these talking head shows, and they're saying something totally different. So we went through that phase for a minute. Then the whole thing came down to verdict. I mean, right after the verdict and all that kind of stuff went down. So I looked at this whole thing totally different than what I was seeing on television or in the media, on the radio or whatever. And then I seen Barry Scheck and Peter Neufeld come on. What's the guy that used to work for CBS? I can't think of his name. He had his own show on PBS for a while. I can't remember the guy's name. But he was interviewing those two guys. And when they said the exact same thing that me and my brother said to each other, that they would have a good day in court, they would come home, watch the talking heads late that night, and everything that they went through that day, that's not what they're talking about on the talk. And I was like, I know I'm not crazy. So really, that got me more interested in what's going on here. So in essence, I think this whole thing was somebody's idea to control this narrative, to keep this man name, image, everything within everybody's mind that he's guilty regardless. And I think it played out like a symphony. Yeah. So that's when I really got super interested in find out the what's what. Now going back to what you just said about different evidence that didn't come in. David, let me ask you a question. What about the evidence that was turned in, but the people, the general public, never heard about it because the talking heads never talked about it?
Yeah, that's a great point. For example, the evidence in the Bronco, the blood that was allegedly found, they found it, but it was here, let me say this. The collection of evidence was extremely flawed. Like everything they did was wrong. They just decided, hey, standard protocol, we're gonna throw that out the window. We're not gonna do that. I don't know why. So the Bronco was impounded and was just held, and it wasn't guarded, it was unlocked. They had a gentleman who testified that he went into the Bronco and he said he was looking for blood because it had been reported already that blood was found in the Bronco. So it was being reported in the news or the newspaper, he said, and Johnny Cochran was questioning him, and he said that he specifically was looking for it. He didn't see any blood. He didn't see anything. And he left fingerprints on the windshield himself. And that was never discussed. But then the date of this was June 21st. He said when he inspected the Bronco. The murders happened June 12th. So we're talking about 11 days later, and there's no blood. But then magically, all of this blood appears later and is brought into court. Now, see, if people didn't, and the thing is, this trial was 9 months long. So if you weren't watching every day or everything, there's stuff that you could miss. And then especially given that, like you said, if you had the luxury of being able to watch it, during the day, if people, were busy and then would have to come back and they would have to see the summary or the recap of whatever happened. Okay. Well, the media is choosing what parts of the trial to share,
exactly,
what parts not.
That is what I'm talking about.
And if the main narrative is trying to convict OJ, they're not going to share parts that contradict that. For example, that there wasn't blood there before. So a lot of people never even heard about that.
Never heard about it. It was never re-reported or anything like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, David. I remember watching that day when that guy those guys dealt with cars. Those guys dealt with cars, so they inspect cars. He wasn't just a guy that just wanted to go look at a car for the hell of it. Even though he was, they buy cars from these kind of lots and resell them and things of that nature, or look them over for people that want to buy them. So by the Bronco being there, his expertise is looking over cars. Now, it ain't like you and I going to look at a car, what the hell we looking at? I like the car, I'm gonna buy it, whatever. But this guy his expertise, I can't remember his name. I know you're talking about. He was a white gentleman with black hair. I still remember the guy, and him and he was with a couple of other guys too, if I'm right about that. He was with a couple of other guys. And it was two of them. One on the driver's side, one on the passenger side, looking through this car, and they said they seen nothing, no blood whatsoever. So, and I remember Marsha Clark cross-examining this guy and started asking him about his glasses. She started asking him about his glasses because his glasses had tint on them.
Yes, they sure did.
Yeah, and I remember her asking him about, why did you wear, I think he was kind of like the quarterback that used to play with the Bears. What was his name?
Oh, Jim McMahon?
Yeah, and that light and stuff kind of messes with you? Yeah. Something like that? Yeah, he had that, whatever they call that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. So that's why he had the tinted type glasses. But anyway, she started asking, she gonna make that the reason why maybe you thought you saw. I mean, come on, these are not shades like somebody trying to look cool, man. These are glasses. I was like, yeah, but she was trying to coerce the jury, I guess, and the people on the camera. I don't know, but the guy testified, and that guy, he doesn't have a dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got a dog in the fight. I just know what I saw, and that's what he did. So how does blood get in a car? And it was somebody else. This was another thing. Where Mark Fuhrman said where he saw blood on the Bronco, on the inner seal of the driver's door, the only way you could have seen blood there was if you opened the door.
Exactly.
So how could he have seen blood at night with the door closed? How could he have seen blood? So it's almost like they was doing two trials at one. You trying to convict a guy over here, going back to what you just alluded to. You're trying to convict a guy over here, and you're trying to cover up the cover up at the same time, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And add to that. So for Mark Fuhrman to discover the blood inside the Bronco, he's telling us the Bronco was unlocked. He opened it up, which, I mean, that gets into, is this a reasonable search that we're, a lawful search here that we're even talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But if he opened it up, he also had access to tamper with it or plant blood. If he did in the Bronco, I'm just saying. And if it wasn't him, it could have been somebody else. So the Bronco was open. This would be a different story if the Bronco had been locked and then they opened it up and there's blood in there. They discovered. This would be a totally different story. But then also, if it was there when Mark Fuhrman saw it, how come this wasn't collected or recorded until later? And I looked the gentleman's name up. It was Bill Blazzini. Blazzini was the gentleman. How come he didn't see it when he went through the Bronco? Because and the thing of it is, it looks very obvious. Like when you see the pictures, like there was blood all over inside the Bronco. But
it's smudged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it was put there and then done like this, smudge on the gas pedal, on the accelerator pedal, somewhere on the console where your armrest is, on the side where, you know, your buttons for your electric windows are, stuff like that. Does that really make sense from a person? If you got blood on your shoes, it's on the gas pedal and the brake pedal. When you walk in the house of which O.J. Simpson had very, very light colored carpet, wouldn't that be on your shoes when you're walking?
You would think. You would think.
I mean, you got to realize, if you've seen the crime scene and you've seen all the footprints and stuff like that, how do you not? I mean, when you walk, every step you take is going to be blood.
Right. Right.
Remember, they said it was somebody in a Bruno Magli shoe.
Yes.
Which is an Italian shoe that's very, very rare. And you can't find, the FBI can't find where this man bought some Bruno Magli shoes. The FBI did a whole search on who sells their shoes, and if they couldn't find a receipt, you know OJ ain't gonna pay cash for nothing. Come on, man, that's OJ. He ain't paying no cash. I'm rich. I got to keep track of all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got to write all this stuff off. And I'm gonna go find a store, and what store? And a lot of this stuff I tell my friends and different people I've had these conversations with, and I'm gonna see if you agree with me. A lot of this stuff that I'm talking about is common sense. Very common sense. What store is O.J. Simpson going to walk into and don't nobody know who he is?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you buy some Bruno Magli shoes. Where is that store? Well, not one person where you can buy anything. A famous person like O.J. and nobody know who he was. And where's this store?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
If he ordered it online, you can track it.
Yeah.
And whatever store sell that very rare shoe, you can trace to that store. It couldn't have been that long ago, you know, before he had them, you know. So right. Those things like that is what bothers me. The common sense things. And then people can go, well, maybe, and that's violent. If you say, well, maybe, he could have that something could have been out of the order. But what I would always say is it's possible. Okay, I'm not denying that. But how probable is it?
Yes. Yes. Because
possible is one thing. Probable is another, especially when you got these kind of certain things popping up for one guy. David Otunga might have one off kilter type thing going on in his life, but a litany of them. What makes David Otunga so special? What are you right? You floating around like Mary Poppins now? I mean, if you did something, you did something. You're gonna leave a trail. It's gonna be a trail.
Yeah.
But if you can't put that trail together, then go, well, maybe. Well, shit, that's anything, brother. Well, maybe we went to the moon. I mean, we went to the moon. They say, right? But they ain't go back. So I question. It makes me question things.
No, you're absolutely right. And you also made me remember too, there was more than one set of footprints that was found at the crime scene. It's not talked about. But
yes,
I mean, how do you just ignore that? That's pretty strong, because that in and of itself is reasonable doubt. If there's two sets of footprints there, how do you know which one is the killer, or both?
But you remember when Henry Lee was testifying to that. Now, he's supposed to be the best in the world, Dr. Henry Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, now the jury is thinking about it one way. The audience is thinking about it another way, especially when it's presented through somebody else's mouth. Dr. Henry Lee said he was never, this is what got me. I don't know if you remember this. He was never emphatic about it, though. He just said it's possibly 2 people. He never did say it was you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. So it left that little doubt, I think, for certain people that was watching. But I give you a better one. The coroner that did the autopsy, who testified in the pre-trial, who was emphatic about the knife wounds, said it was 2 different knives. And that one of Ron Goldman was killed by a left-handed guy.
Yeah.
And Nicole was killed by a right-handed guy, because one guy had the puncture marks on this side of his neck, Ron Goldman. She had the puncture marks on this side of her neck, and how the slash started from here to here. And on him, the slash started from here to here. One knife was a blunt edge, which means it's sharp on one side. The other wounds were a double edge, which means it's sharp on both sides. But when he came to testify, when the LA PD coroner's office testified in the real trial, he didn't show up. His boss showed up and discounted everything that he said. And they asked him, has Mr. So-and-so ever, I can't remember his name, is Mr. So-and-so, I have all the names by the time you and I talk, because I got notes and stuff written down. The Ramaswamy was his boss. He testified in the trial. And he asked him, have you ever testified before? No, I think it's the first time. Has Mr. So-and-so, I can't remember the guy's name. Has Mr. So-and-so ever not testified after he's done a autopsy? No, I don't think he ever has. Now, what does that tell you right there? How many times has, like he actually got, how many times has Mr. So-and-so not, had to go to court and testify? He didn't show up, and you showed up. Never. So if I'm grilling him, lucky I'm not like you. I would have said, what the hell you doing here then for? You know what I'm saying? We need him here. But I wouldn't want to be out of line and get thrown out of court. But I'm just saying, this has never happened before. When those 2 guys have been working together, you come up and testify for what the job he did. You see what I'm saying? That don't sound suspicious to you?
Yeah, as a defense attorney, you'd want to talk to the actual person who did it, not secondhand information or supervisor. You want to talk to the individual who actually reviewed the evidence, right? Whose job it was. Yeah. So
let me ask you this, and anybody else that's watching this: if these kind of things are happening in court on a daily basis, and I'm one of the 12 jurors, you don't think I'm soaking this in when we go back and deliberate and talk? You don't think they see something wrong with this? This is a novice murderer. Murder takes skill to do. I mean, I ain't gonna say anybody can kill, but to kill with a knife takes a skill. That's like shooting a pistol, and then you are a marksman that can hit something from a mile away. It's totally different, bro. And I got guns, I know. Shooting at a target right there with your gun, ping, 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 your automatic is one thing. Shooting at a guy a mile and a half, 2 miles away and hit him, that's a whole nother ball game. So when you come to kill with a knife, you got a skill.
Yeah, let me ask you about that too, because this is something that I've been really interested in. Is they had a number of experts, and this didn't come out in trial. This is somebody I saw who did this independently. Okay. But they analyzed the autopsy report and the crime scene and tried to recreate the actual physical confrontation. And that's something that kept coming up to me is, look, I know OJ, Hall of Fame football player. He was about 40. He might have been 46 at the time.
46, 47, right in there.
Yeah. And, he had some arthritis and stuff. He wasn't too banged up, but I've heard reports he's a little banged up. But even still, I don't know if I see him being capable of carrying out an execution in this manner, because this looked professional and from the wounds. Like, what are your thoughts on that? If you think OJ was even capable of this, I mean, given that he's not a trained killer that I know of.
Well, that's why I just brought up. You got to have a skill to kill the way those people was killed.
Yeah,
that's a skill. That's not luck. But let's put it in perspective. This is what I always like to do when I'm talking about this case. And it goes back to the timeline. It goes back to a lot of common sense. It's what I say, how can you be the smartest novice killer in the world and then be the dumbest guy in the world at the same time?
Yeah.
I'm not driving my white Bronco, white, that everybody in this neighborhood knows, at 10 o'clock, a little after 10 o'clock, and ain't nobody in LA sleep at that time of day or time of night. In a neighborhood where everybody walks their dogs or walking back and forth to the restaurants and stuff in that area all night long. And I'm supposed to be going to take a trip to Chicago. And my daughter is having a sleepover tonight. And I just called her around 8:45, 9 o'clock to say, I love you and I'll see you when I get back home. And I didn't even know if the parents of that little girl that was having a sleepover with was still at the house. That's the time I'm coming over to kill my wife.
Right.
In what world does that make sense? Now, if I'm sitting on a jury, you can't convince me of this. Then I have a fist fight with a man that's trying to not die. Ron Goldman, 26-year-old, who was also a karate guy, who practiced karate and stuff like that. He's got bruises all over his body. He's been stabbed, I don't know, 25, 30 times. His head severed. His ex-wife hit, severed. I'm in the midst of all this stuff. And 15, 20 minutes later, I'm going to the airport?
Yeah.
You know, like the Jackie Chan movie, The Tuxedo, where you can hit a button on the tuxedo and everything comes back to normal. I mean, really? What kind of breath? You know this as well as I do. If you've been in a fierce fight, brother, your adrenaline is through the roof. You're exhausted. You dig what I'm saying? And I got to go clean up. And I got 20 minutes to do it. But when people see me at the airport, I'm as fresh as a daisy. Oh, he cut his hand in the fight. Not one person testified that the man had any cuts on his hand. Right. And a cut that big, you're going to have to put some kind of gauze on it. You can't hide it.
Right.
None of that makes sense. I know you say it over and over and over, the old Joseph Goebbels thing kick in. You try to make people believe it. But if I'm sitting on a jury and then we go back to deliberate, I'm not buying this story, man. I'm not buying it. Especially the timeline. They say the murders happened between 10:15 and 10:20. Ron Goldman, let's take this timeline, see what you think about it. Ron Goldman got off around 9:30. He stayed at the restaurant about till between 9:55 and 9:58. He stays approximately 8 to 10 minutes away from there. He got the eyeglasses that they had called him because Nicole and them was there earlier, and her mother left her reading glasses or some kind of glasses. He got them and said, I'll bring them by later. He goes home. Now him and his buddy is going to the hottest nightclub on a Sunday night in LA. And it's called Cantina. It had a Mexican name to it. And this is where all the would-be actors Not an actor like you. I'm talking the would-be actors, not the actors that did some stuff. You know, this they trying to do some stuff. You know, and actresses and writers. You know that Hollywood world is.
Yeah.
This is where they all go. The expiring people in Hollywood on Sunday night. Now, Ron Goldman is 26 years old. I did a 5-6 hour shift around mozzarella sauce, spaghetti, all this different stuff. Then I walked home because I don't have a car on a summer night. Now, real G, I'm a part-time model and I'm trying to be an actor. How long is it going to take a G like that, a young G, to get ready to go to the club? Now you just left the restaurant about 9:58. It took you 8 to 10 minutes to get home. Let's say you got home at 10:10. They say the murders happened at 10:15 to 10:20. Now you borrowed your friend's car because you don't have a car. And you was dog sitting. See, a lot of these people don't know about it. I don't even know if you know. He was also dog sitting. First thing you do when you get home, if you got an animal, I know I've had many of them, is let the dog out so he can do his business. Dog do his business, you come back in and you start getting ready. Now, you ain't got woolly hair like me. You got straight hair. And you think you a G like that gonna be pushing up on some honeys and I ain't got my stuff together? How long is it gonna take a G like that to get ready? And I'm gonna go drop these glasses off and then I'm gonna pick my boy up and we're gonna go macking these you-know-what. That's what we're gonna do. And you tell me you're gonna do that in what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's tight. That's a little tight window there.
It's gonna take you 10 minutes to find out what you're wearing tonight. And not only that, he had a spinach salad in his intestines. And nobody testified to him eating at the restaurant. So where did he eat? At home. So how long did it take him to put that together?
That's a good point.
If I didn't know better, well, I do know better. Let me ask you this. How do we know that the target was Nicole?
You're right. We don't know that.
Do you know there was 3 other guys associated with Mezzalusa restaurant that also was murdered mysteriously?
You mentioned this to me. Talk about this. Yeah.
Yes.
This was news to me. Yeah, when you mentioned that.
Yeah. 3, it was actually 4 or 5, but 3 was directly because they had worked at the restaurant and they were friends of Ron Goldman. Do you know Ron Goldman's police file is classified?
Really?
Yes. You know the people that they put under, I forgot the number, like when you're a snitch?
Yeah. Criminal
or somebody, or you talking to the authorities? Mm-hmm. Yes. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Oh, see, now we're getting somewhere with this because that leads it to being something bigger where, like you said, like a psyop, where there could be something larger at play. And that's the reason they didn't want it to be found out. If in this hypothetical, if that was the case and he was the intended target, going by that set of facts, I could see them trying to pin this on somebody else. And Nicole's collateral damage, well, obviously people are going to think it was the ex-husband or whatnot, and they could try and frame him up to cover up something much larger. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just getting people. I just get people to think.
Yeah,
that's all I'm doing is get you to think. Do you know drug enforcement in that area had targeted several restaurants in that area where people were trafficking drugs?
Yeah.
And one of the restaurants was Mezzalusa.
Yeah, I had heard that. And this is what I heard too, is Nicole allegedly used to get her cocaine from there. You would order something, whatever it is. It was like code on the menu, and they would give you a doggy bag to go home. But inside that doggy bag would be the drugs, and then you would give them a substantial tip, whatever it was, what was paying for the drugs. Yeah.
Did you know her sister Denise had just got out of rehab?
No.
When this happened, and you remember Faye Resnick that was saying she was Nicole's best friend, but didn't know him about 6 months, has just gotten out of rehab also. And this woman wrote a book.
Wow. Yeah.
And you remember when OJ, they had the tape of OJ going off on her, screaming and stuff like that, when he saw her through the window with this guy named Keith. And I guess she was, they was hooking up, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if, how you run your deal, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? And OJ was going off, and they was like, this is OJ, you hear on the tape, this OJ, you guys know his record and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. What he was screaming and hollering about was her giving fellatio to her boyfriend, and OJ didn't want the kids to see them.
Right.
Because they were in the living room by the window. He saw them. If that was me, I'd be pissed off too. And if you listen to what he said, he was saying, what kind of guy is that can't take you to a hotel or something like that? He's like, hell, if he ain't got the money, I give you the money. Right. As long as you don't spend it on drugs. That's what OJ said. All of them junkies. And in that world, who knows what's what, man, because none of this came up in court. None of it.
Right.
Nothing about her drug addiction, nothing about her sister. Her sister got up there and said, OJ was at the recital. His eyes, they would look so evil. Then they get a video of the guy outside hugging everybody. You saw that, picking his son up and blah, blah, blah. Come on, man. I'm just saying, I just like for people to think when a person like OJ from Potrero Hill in San Francisco, I'm from South Park right here in Houston. And I'm going to tell you, when you come up hard the way we did, you don't kill with a knife. And everything in my ex-wife's life is predicated on my income. Right. Your condo, I bought it. Your Ferrari that you was letting Ron Goldman drive, I paid for it. Every dime that you get for groceries and everything else, I paid for. My kids, whatever it costs to raise them with you, I pay for. So at the end of the day, where are you going? You can't survive without me. I got to go to Chicago. I can't kill you when I get back. Where you going?
Right. Yeah, that's the whole thing is wild to me, the motive even, because that's exactly it. And OJ has to know he's going to be the first person people look at if something happens to Nicole. I mean, off rip, everybody's going to look at him, whether he was involved or not. And man, that's the other thing. Right before a flight, what was the urgency of this?
Now you see what I'm saying? That makes no sense. You're a guy that has flown a lot just like me. Brother, you trying to figure out at the last minute, did I pack everything right? I ain't got time to go do something, then try to get back.
Right.
Oh yeah, I got another one for you. I think her name was Rosa Lopez, stayed right across the street. She's a housekeeper right across the street from Juice. OJ, brother. See, if I say Juice, see, that's what everybody called him back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nobody ever said OJ, it was Juice. And Pat McKenna, who was the detective for O.J. Simpson's lawyers, Pat McKenna, they called him up. F. Lee Bailey and them called him up from Florida because F. Lee Bailey and them knew something. F. Lee Bailey must have had a premonition or something because he was like, these guys are not doing the job like they supposed to, the detectives. So F. Lee Bailey was literally like something, what's going on? They're not getting us no evidence. They called Pat McKenna. Pat McKenna in Florida said, I'm just looking at the stuff. He said this in his book and on some interviews. He said, I'm just looking at television and stuff like that. And I thought he was guilty just like everybody else. So Pat McKenna come out to LA and then started investigating stuff. And started, you know what I'm saying, looking at stuff from a whole different perspective. That's where a lot of this stuff comes from that I'm talking about. It's Pat McKenna. Okay? And Pat McKenna went and talked to, like what the police detectives are supposed to have been doing, but they kept anybody that had any kind of evidence to make OJ look innocent, they didn't talk to him no more. Or they would call them in for a pretrial and then just excoriate them. And these were people that thought OJ was guilty. So why would you do that? So Pat and them picked up on it. So he went back and re-interviewed a lot of the people. And one of the person was Rosie, I think it was Rosa Lopez. I know Lopez, but I'm not sure about the first name. I think it was Rosa. But anyway, and he said the lady kept telling him, they kept badgering me like, I didn't know what I was talking about, Mr. Pat, because she called him Pat. So he said he had her to walk through everything she did that night. Around 10 o'clock, she takes the dog out or whatever. She said, first I made me some tea. So he had her walk through everything. Make the tea, see how many minutes that worked, get the dog, see how long it take to put the collar on, walk him around, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. And guess what she said?
What's that?
When I came out to walk the dog, Mr. Simpson's Bronco was parked in front of the house. Because she does the same routine you know how people are, man. You know what I'm saying? I used to be like that with my animals. Every night at a certain time, you walk the dog. You make you some tea. This is it's a ritual. And she said, he asked her, did you see Mr. Simpson Bronco? She said, yeah, it was parked right there. This was about 6-7 minutes after 10 o'clock. So how was he murdering people and his Bronco was parked right there at the same time? The woman ain't got a dog in the fight.
Right.
Nicole's neighbor, who stayed right across the street from her, one of her neighbor, I forgot the woman named Denise something, stayed right across the street from her, who one of her girlfriends was visiting her that night, and she left about 10:28, somewhere in there, because she walked her out to her car, and both of them looked at each other and said, man, it's a quiet night tonight, and they both said, yeah. So after she left, she goes back in to send her mother an email on her computer. And the computer documents every time you do something. And it was like 10:32. Now, if OJ was doing all these murders, wouldn't they have heard it? She lives right across the street.
Right.
And she got everything documented on a computer. 10:28. Rosa Lopez seized the truck. It ain't went nowhere. Denise, whatever that lady's name, stayed right across the street. She ain't heard nothing. So how are these murders going on? And they're right there.
Yeah.
The timeline doesn't add up, bro. And then Kato Kalin said he heard a thump against the wall at 10:40.
Yeah.
A thump against the wall. None of it adds up. OJ should have been killing people. Oh, that same lady said she heard the dog wailing about 10:40.
Right.
Because that was another point of the timeline that they used, by when the dog started wailing or whatever like that. So how can a man be in two places at once? And only got 15 minutes before we get picked up by the limo.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's contradictory too. Like the prosecution made such a deal about the defensive wounds on Ronald Goldman. Okay, and I've seen the pictures, seen the autopsy photos.
Yeah, me too.
The wounds, but how come there were no wounds on OJ? There weren't.
That's my point. That is my point.
You can't be in a fight like that and
No.
not have any wounds on you at all. And
not if you know anything about being in a fight.
Right. In a fight.
And one person fighting for their life?
Yeah.
I mean, a man fighting for your life, that's a different kind of animal, bro.
Yeah. OJ didn't have one scratch on him.
None.
Not a scratch, not a bruise, not a swollen lip, puffy eye, nothing. There was the wound on the finger, but then on his left middle finger, but then which is it? Because the glove wasn't damaged. So
that's a good one. That's right.
And cut his finger open. And then that doesn't make sense either. The glove is found right there with the knit hat. Like, a killer, you're not going to kill somebody and leave the glove and the hat together like they were set there intentionally and leave that behind.
But that's what it looks like. Like I say, if you're on a jury and you listen to this all day, I'm not talking about people listening to stuff like what we're talking about from a television and somebody's explaining it out to you in that fashion. No, you're in a jury. You're a jury. You listen to this on a daily basis. Then you go back and talk about it. And they're going to be doing just like you and I doing right now.
Yeah.
This don't make sense. How does this happen? You can't just make something happen by osmosis. It's got to add up. It's got to add up. Now, one lady said his truck ain't moved. Your truck can't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
And then they had one lady testify that OJ almost ran into her. Then they proved that lady was lying. I tell you what I want you to look up. You can see a bunch of this stuff. This dude named Brian Hiss. He used to have it on his website. I looked at his website years ago. You can also go on his website and listen to the Mark Furman tapes, the whole thing. Not the little smidget that they put on television. You could go to his website and listen to all of this stuff, bro. This dude was a genocidal racist. It was proven. If you listen to them tapes, oh my God, the little stuff that he said in court that they played, that's nothing.
Wow. Brian
Hess had all this stuff on his website. And Brian Hess did a thing called, this is like, I don't know how many different parts of it, but you can go to his website or you can pull it up on YouTube now because it's been several years later. He did this like in 14, 15, 16, right in there. It's called O.J. Simpson, Fact or Fiction. And every one of those controversial things, he breaks it down to show you how big of a lie it is.
And going back to Mark Furman, there's so much there. I even had just recently found this out. Like I'm not sure if he filed a civil suit or what it was, but he was trying to get money from the Los Angeles Police Department by basically saying that because he worked there and he had to interact with black people so much that it affected him to the point where he couldn't do his job anymore.
Right.
That is wild, number one. Number two, he wasn't even on duty. Why was he called in?
No. But was he?
Baffling to me.
That baffles everybody. And do you know, you probably heard this too, that some kind of way he knew Nicole.
Yes. Yeah.
Because somebody testified, I don't know if it was in court or out of court or at the pre-trial or whatever, that Mark Furman was down at the station telling some of his buddies about Nicole Simpson's new breast job. How would he know that?
Right.
How would he know that? Unless you know somebody personally.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes sense.
And Judge Ito's wife worked in the police department, and somebody in her department had a swastika put on his locker, and everybody that worked in that department thought it was Mark Furman. Because the guy was Jewish. And you know that the prosecutors was told do not use this guy. They knew what he was. They were told not to use him, but they thought they could slip it in anyway, which means you desperate.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
And from an attorney standpoint, I think they had to, given the fact
Probably
that you found the glove.
Right.
I really wonder what their true feelings were. Like if they believed that he planted the glove or not from the prosecution. They'll never say. But I wonder about that.
You know something? That's such a great point. Have you ever seen, we've seen Marsha Clark and we've seen Chris Darden on all kind of stuff since then. Nobody has ever asked them that question. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Dude, you guys, I mean, how would you, but they're going to be emphatic about it. They got to go with the whole thing. Now think about this. Everybody through this, why did this thing last 9 months? I ain't never heard of something that should be so simple to prove last 9 months. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Al Capone, back in the 30s, trial didn't last 9 months when they got him. John Gotti.
Yeah.
Trial didn't last 9 months. Come on, man. But an ex-football player killing his wife that should be cut and dry lasts 9 months. In essence, what I'm thinking is the PSYOP is not like a government PSYOP, but I think it might have little government tendencies attached to it because the FBI was brought in to, do what they do as far as trying to find who sold him those shoes and the blood having EDTA in it. Okay, right. How does blood get EDTA in it? Then we learned like a year later after all that stuff went down when they said that Van Aert or whichever one of the detective was had O.J. Simpson blood in his coat pocket or whatever. Come to find out he had vials of Ron Goldman's blood and O.J.'s wife's blood. He had blood of all three of them. So when they found the blood inside O.J.'s car, now you see where it came from. Because their blood was in there too. This was
the biggest piece for me. So when I was in law school, I had the pleasure of being in Professor Alan Dershowitz's criminal law class.
Okay.
And 10 years, who's on OJ's team, 10 years after the murders, the 10-year anniversary, he had a reunion in class and had invited the prosecution and the defense, Marsha Clark, Christopher Darden. Johnny Cochran wasn't there. This is when we found out he was sick.
Right.
I couldn't believe this wasn't televised. This was just for his criminal law class 101. I was section 1. I happened to be in this, but we had gone over this about the planting of the evidence and the blood and the socks, and he explained this so well, and it made so much sense. And I know you're familiar with this, but like at first they took a video, a home video in OJ's house. There was no socks. There was nothing out of place. OJ was
before you finish, let me ask you this. Do you know why they had the videographer in there in the first place?
Remind me.
Because whenever the LA police did investigations like that, shit rounded up leaving people's homes. But anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and finish. I just want to let you know that. I'm just saying he just wasn't there for the hell of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing they took that video because that ended up helping, because what happened is then later they were in the house for I don't know how many hours they had been there. The video had already been taken.
Right.
Furman shows up to the scene.
Yes.
Furman shows up to the scene and he goes into the bedroom. All of a sudden, guess what? He must be their lucky detective. Hey, we got socks right here, randomly just strewn about. The only thing out of place. They weren't there before.
But then, guess what?
What's that?
The guys that was doing that had told Furman to leave twice. You don't supposed to be up here.
We didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
They get the socks. They recover them. Not only is there drops of blood on them, the blood has EDTA in it. And yes, EDTA is made in the human body, but not in this concentration.
Not in this concentration.
Right. Came from a preservative. It's an anticoagulant is what
exactly
EDTA is. And it was in a vial. Now here's everything on this. the vial of blood, I forget how much was drawn initially from OJ, but 1.5 cc's was missing by the time Van Adder turned it in, and he had been carrying it in his shirt pocket, which is not police procedure. That is not how you do things. That is so wrong. It should have already been logged into evidence. Exactly. And then a huge thing of it was when the blood was on the socks, it was on both sides.
Yes.
You have a sock, almost like a glove. It's on your hand,
with your ankle in it.
Right. It's only going to be on one side. It's not going to come through to the other side unless you take a dropper and drop it. Then it would go through. That's what we had here. So
that's what we had.
Were clearly planted. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as a jury, I'm going to keep saying this. Sitting on a jury and you listening to this, we're not going to look at each other, David, and go, brother, you really want me to like overlook this?
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. Let's get back to the gloves. O.J. Simpson got big hands like me. Okay? I wear a double X in gloves. O.J. Simpson wears a double X. Those gloves were a large.
Yeah.
Who going to kill somebody with some gloves that I can't even wear?
Right.
Because they kind of tricked Christopher Darden into having OJ put the gloves on. F. Lee Bailey did, because F. Lee Bailey said he saw the gloves and picked them up one day and tried them on. He's like, I could barely get my hand in them. So I knew OJ can't get his hand in them. And that's why he tricked him and said, why don't you get OJ to wear the gloves? If you don't, we'll call him up. So Christopher Darden wouldn't put him up. And then, OJ couldn't get his hands in them. And everybody's talking about, he ain't taking his medicine, and that's why his hands swole up and all this stuff. This kind of dumb stuff they want people to believe. But if I'm sitting in a jury, no way, man. Come on. There's no way. My hands ain't going to swell up why would I stop taking my medication if I need it? The police can't even stop that. If you can get on medication, the police got to give you your medication. And I'm going to stop taking my medication for my hands to swell up like I knew I was going to wear it.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have to try the gloves on and stuff like that. Oh, man, this is unbelievable, brother. Some of the stuff that they tried to pull.
And that right there, I loved it when Dershowitz was talking about that. Like, that might be the largest legal blunder in the history of the court system that we know of. Like, and he said he couldn't believe it. Like, when they were going to do it, he's no, are they really going to have him do this? Yeah. Please, OJ, get up and do this. Go do it.
Right.
And OJ, basically, what was brilliant about it is he got to testify in a way in front of the jury without testifying, without saying a word. And he was an actor too. So he's really strong.
Well, do you know what Bailey and Johnny Cochran said? That OJ kept saying, let me testify.
I bet.
They say he kept asking, but they wouldn't let him. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're lawyers. He can't see what they see. You know what I'm saying? So, and they said how astute he was on everything that was going down, almost like quarterbacking the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was something that was uncanny that you didn't hear about, but no way we could have. So I'm just saying, man, when I talk about this O.J. Simpson thing, I'm really passionate about it because if you think about it, David, those guys that were journalists that was in the court every day wrote books, made millions. Marsha Clark wrote a book, made millions. Christopher Darden wrote a book, made millions. Everybody attached to that thing in some way, shape, or form. Denise started some women's battered thing. Who knows how much money she got from that? Because I think she ended up getting sued. I'm not 100% sure, but just in my head. I'm the kind of person that can retain things, but I don't know where they come from. You know what I'm saying? That's in there. When you bring up a subject, then something pops in my head. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't handle that right, and they probably was spending the money or something like that. Yeah, start a whole nonprofit, Denise. And all those shows that was on for that long, David, I'm thinking that's why, because they was making money. You see, if you had ended the thing early, nobody would have made all the money in the talk show, the after shows. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
So I think it was done that long because they had to squeeze every lemon out of it and pretty much curtails people's mind that this guy is guilty regardless of all the evidence, because the dominating, the majority, that's what you need. I'm selling you a product, but I'm creating it at the same time. Because if a guy is looking innocent, that doesn't sell.
Right. Right.
If they're coming back every night and saying, you know, we don't really think OJ's, I mean, this is just like, I don't know what the prosecution is doing. None of it makes sense. That's not going to sell.
Yeah.
But all this other stuff did, because I watched it. I watched it from the beginning to the ending. And it started way before the trial. And you remember Johnny Cochran them wanted to do a, I don't know what they say in your business, where they want to go to trial fast. What do they call that?
Yeah, speedy trial. They wanted to get right to it. Yeah.
Right. Now, how many times we've seen people do stuff like this and they don't go to trial for 4-5 years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because the defense got to get all kind of stuff together to make weak. So I'm just saying, man, it was a lot of stuff to this. Now, where do you live, David? Are you in California or in Chicago?
I'm in California.
Okay. How long does it take to get from Brentwood to where Nicole's parents stayed in Dana Point?
Oh, I'm not familiar where Dana Point is, actually. I'd have to look that
Well,
up.
they say it's 75 miles.
Okay, that's going to take a while. And with LA traffic, that's far.
Okay, but this is what this is something else that came out. They said they asked OJ's wife. Somebody asked, no, her father. Somebody asked her father, when was the last time his wife talked to his daughter? He said 11 o'clock. That's what he said. And then they had to change that because they said, well, how the hell can OJ Simpson be in two places at once? He's catching a plane to Chicago at 11 o'clock. He's already in the limo. Then they came back and he changed it and said, no, she talked to him about 9:30. Well, if they left Messalusa's restaurant between 8:45 and 8:50, how do you drive 75 miles?
Right.
In that traffic? Because I guess they was working on the lanes. You know, you guess you guys country flow lanes or something like that back then. So in essence, what TJ Johnson was saying, who came up with this, how do you get from Brentwood to Dana Point in 45 minutes? And it's 75 miles away.
Right. I see here it's an hour, 47 minutes or 2 hours, depending on the route.
And that's today.
Yeah, that's today. Yeah.
So how could that be true? And guess what?
I believe it is.
Back in those days, the telephone company will not release the records. An hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah. That's if you're fast. Yeah. Depending on the
So
route.
if they left the restaurant between 9:45 and 9:50, 8:45 and 9:50, they went 75 miles in California traffic in less than an hour.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
But if you can clear the whole thing up by just giving the telephone records, and GTE will not give up the records all the way up to this day.
Wow.
Now, how does a man say you talk to your daughter, your wife talked to your daughter at 11 o'clock and change it all the way back to 9:30? Y'all would have still been driving on the road.
Right. Right. That
This
doesn't
wasn't
matter.
cell
Yeah,
phone
none of
records.
that
These
adds
were
up.
home records. You
Yeah,
know,
we
back
even-
then, everybody didn't have a cell phone.
right. You had to be at home. Yes, that's
You
true.
know, I mean, everybody wasn't like your boy. Now, your boy had one. I'll tell you that. You know, everybody would like your boy now. You know, you know? But yeah, it was a home records.
Man.
So you done got home and got all the way in the house by 9:30. And then I seen Gloria Allred on TV saying, "Oh yeah, you could easily do that. It's been done." There's some other guys say they did it with 10 minutes to go. I don't believe that, man. You just said it yourself.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Must have had a serious lead foot. They're doing that.
Yeah.
Police escort, something in order to make that happen.
Dog, they would have to be driving Corvettes though. Then it couldn't be no regular car. You know what I'm saying? You know, they had to be driving a car that's hauling ass because in real time. Same thing I used to always tell my daughter when she first started driving. You can't make up time with speed.
Right.
You can't. Believe me, I done drove all over this country. I done drove in every state in the union except for Hawaii. You can't make up time with speed, like you said, unless you're going twice as fast, and you still might save 10 minutes at that.
Yeah, a couple minutes. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't. The only way you can make up time, this is what I tell my daughter, if you late for something, you late already. Don't try to make it up. That's how people get into accidents.
Yeah.
You just because you're driving fast, you really ain't going fast. Because you still got red lights, you still got traffic, and you still get, you know what I'm saying? So you didn't do nothing. So if you late for your job, call them and say, I'm late.
Yeah.
Because you get there 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late, you're still late.
That's right. That's right.
I've seen so many people do that. Hell, I used to be like that when I was young. And I had to figure that out, brother. There ain't no such thing. You make up time by leaving early. That's the only way. Unless you Superman, just take off flying or something like that. No. But no. So that's another thing right there. Everything that we've talked about today, man, nobody got answers for. And when you don't have answers for something, that means you're doing everything emotionally and you're not being rational because you're so emotionally invested into a person being guilty that you won't look at anything else. And those are the kind of conversations I've had with people so many times, David, so many times.
Yeah, it's confirmation bias is what it comes down to. Is you already have what you think is the narrative or the answer in your mind, and so then you try to make, and it's subconsciously a lot of times, but everything fits that. And if something doesn't agree with it, it's ignored. It's cognitive dissonance. Then you just cut it out.
But what about people? What about all the blood? And then when you talk to them about what you and I just got through discussion, I didn't hear that. Well, how did you get any of your information? From television. Right. From television. And the only thing you listened to was the ones that made you feel the way you want to feel.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we see now with news and stuff like that and propaganda. It's the same thing we see now. Somebody talking about what you want to hear. It is big business in that. And I think it started during the OJ Simpson trial, David. Yeah. I trace it back to that.
That's what certainly opened my eyes to it was that case. And then that's when I started to realize, wow, so not everything reported on TV or on the news is true or factual. That was big for me, like learning that. And then since then, going into an adult, and that is very much the case.
Right. And you remember right after that, I don't know if you remember this, you was a kid then, but I remember. Right after that is when Fox News started to be a player in the game against CNN. Because back then, the only thing we had was CNN. MSNBC and Fox were just coming into the fray. So back then, you had, and a lot of people to this day still don't understand that when you are a news organization, you can be sued when you know something is untrue and you present it like it is true. How many times have we seen that? And that's why you can hear things on Fox News that you don't hear on nothing else. And don't get me wrong, I ain't coming down on nobody. I just know how the game works. But they are an entertainment company.
Right.
That's masquerading as a news company. So in essence, they can say stuff that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? And they can get up there and then on the thing say, well, we're fair and balanced. But see, now everything's conflicted against you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the 2000 election, where every other news company was out there saying, well, they don't have any evidence of this, that, and the other. Well, Fox News was saying, oh, Dominion voting machines are not working right. Yeah, they stole the election, this, that, and the other. That's why they got sued for almost $800 million and had to pay it. Because that was a lie. And you was telling the people a lie. You know, so going back to that, not saying, I mean, that's their business, so on and so forth. I don't care one way or the other, but because I know how this shit works. It's about money. And I think the O.J. Simpson thing was about money. Everybody got rich except for who? O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that.
Man, that's...
And for you not to even make any money from it, we're going to do the civil trial and make you liable for $33 million. So every dime you try to make is going to be ours. I'm sorry, David. To me, that's not an accident, bro.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was at all. And then that's why later he gets convicted for stealing back his own memorabilia and basically was punished far beyond what that charge should have been. But, you know, it's kind of for making up for the murders, you know.
And it kind of justifies everything else in the minds of the many.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody can see that was a setup. They set OJ up, bro. Those guys that was telling the other guys, hey, man, they got your stuff, riled him up to go over there. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. That definitely sounded like a setup to me. Yeah.
Come on, man.
And yeah, and he
they just happen to be in Vegas at the same time your buddy get married.
Right. With your stuff. Yeah.
With your stuff. Mm-hmm. And one dude just happened to bring a gun. Well, y'all some old gangsters? Come on, man. Because remember, that's what made the case so severe. One of the guys had a gun.
Yeah.
And I think he testified that OJ told him to bring or something like that. I can't even remember now. Brother, come on, brother. They got him good. But he fell for it.
Yeah, he did.
He fell for it.
He did.
That's why this whole thing, to me, I call it a psyop. But psyop is usually the government. But this was something else, man. This was not what we thought. How could someone like Marcia Clark actually think you was going to get somebody convicted on the stuff that you had? No way.
Yeah.
And unless you're the worst prosecutor, everybody can see Christopher Darden as a numbskull. Do you know this dude? I ain't trying to put his business in the street, but look this up. T.J. Johnson's brother, T.J. Johnson is the other guy that he did the documentary called Surface Rising. You might want to look that up too. Black guy. He's a physician, and he went over the whole. He's the guy that went over the whole thing that the first guy that did the autopsy. He got all of his notes and went over them and stuff because that's what he does. And his brother's a doctor also, and said that Darden, I think, got his secretary pregnant and didn't even want to help the girl out.
Wow, I hadn't heard this. Oh wow.
You don't do the digging like old Ray Dog, man. You don't do the digging. No. I'm like the guys on remember the movie JFK?
Yeah.
And
Oliver Stone. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the Oliver Stone movie JFK? Yep. And they was finding out about all this different evidence when it came to Lee Harvey Oswald and different things that was going on, and guys in New Orleans that was a part of that whole thing. And one guy character, I just can't can't remember his name, and he was telling the other dude, "Come on, man, you're just not digging enough. You got to keep digging, man." And that's when I knew. I think this movie came out in like 91. I think I seen it in 92 because it came out in like December. And I never forget that, man. Like, oh man, when you because this is back in the 60s. Man, how did they find out information back then and you ain't got the, convenience of today to do stuff? That means you had to be doing some digging, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but T.H. Johnson's brother said that Christopher Darden got, I don't know if it was his secretary or somebody's secretary, pregnant and didn't even want to take care of the girl.
Wow.
Just sap. And then at the press conference after the verdict, he gonna get up here and start crying. You should have started crying for how bad of a lawyer you are, man. Come on. The only reason they put him out there is because he was black. And he worked with the prosecution. That should tell you something right there.
Yeah, because initially he wasn't on the case.
Exactly.
And as I understood it at the time, he was relatively inexperienced. Inexperienced prosecutor. And then
Johnny Cochran, no.
Yeah, they put him on the biggest case the city had ever had.
For show purposes. I mean, come on, have you seen this dude do anything else since? He getting booked on soap operas. He getting booked on talking on all these shows. He wrote a book, got $1 million deal. Come on, man. Everybody got rich.
Actually, you know what? The last time, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I heard of him, he's a defense attorney now, and he was going to defend the individual who shot and killed Nipsey Hussle, Eric Holder. I believe he was first retained for that, and then the public backlash was so much, he stepped down. I don't know if it was because of the public backlash, I assume, but for some reason he stepped down. But that was the last I heard of him. Yeah. Nah,
I didn't hear that, brother, but that's some news there. Yeah, that might be the last time you hear of him, Christopher Darden. Man, come on, man. You're nothing, brother. You got in there some real dogs. They dropped him over the fence with some real dogs, man. I'm talking about some real dogs. That ate him like collard greens, man.
You're right. They didn't call him the Dream Team for nothing. That is likely the greatest team.
I think so. Did my boy freeze up again?
Pretty sure he froze up again.
Yeah, StreamYards, man. I got StreamYards too. And I go live and it'll do the same thing, man. So what I had to do was get a, one of those things that amplifies your signal. Mm-hmm. That helped a lot.
I think we should run a speed test to be sure. I think it's his computer. I think his computer locks up and then crashes.
Yeah.
We've been working on a fix.
I use a laptop. I use my laptop, but this is a laptop I bought for my daughter when she went to college. And then when she finished, she was getting a new one. I was like, "You still got that old one?" She goes, "Yeah." I took it to the computer place and they revamped it, updated it. I'm like, "I use this. I'm not going to buy another." And I'm like, hey, my daughter's like 31 years old now. So how many years this been?
Good computer's good computer.
I hear you. But I only use it for basic stuff though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I only use it for basic. I'm not an everyday computer guy. I do most everything off my phone, man. To be honest.
That's pretty common. Like because I run YouTube, I run a lot of YouTube pages, and that's what I see is that if you look on like the analytics for a YouTube page, the vast majority of your views are on a phone. Right.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
How good are your websites?
I'm not great at websites.
Oh, okay. You know anybody who is?
I could find you some people.
Yeah, because I got to get a website built for my I'm coming out with a merch line. And I got a couple of phone numbers from a buddy of mine, but I haven't called him yet. I was just asking. I didn't know if you was into that or not also.
We'll vet him, but 627 Derek in the chat says he's good at everything. So
who?
A guy in our chat. So
he's good at everything.
He's claiming an internet commenter is claiming he's good at everything. Mr. Otunga is with us.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we are.
Oh, I didn't know you guys had people on the stream.
Yes, we did. We not sure what happened, but we're back.
Probably same thing happened to me. Mine just freezes up sometimes. The StreamYards.
Well, anyway.
You say you got people doing comments? What are the comments like?
Yeah, what do we got, Steve? Bring back Title Match Wrestling Podcast. All right, from Brandon.
Oh, my straight you talking about Stand Up for Greatness?
Pretty sure that's what he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about Stand Up. Yeah, that's the first podcast I did back in the day. I think I was one of the first pro wrestlers to do a podcast. I think we started that back in 2016 because I was doing radio. I was doing a radio show and a podcast on the same day every week. Yeah, and I had a radio show called Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, the same thing that I got now, my podcast. And then I had a podcast called Stand Up for Greatness. And what I would do is go on there and tell funny stories about different things that happened in professional wrestling, things that were serious, but I would turn them fun. I would make the story funny, though, you know.
Yeah.
I could see it like a cartoon in my head, you know, and I would tell the stories, and people loved that. People loved that show, man. But we had to stop doing it because my boy that was my producer, he worked for the local ABC affiliate here.
Okay.
And they didn't want him to do it because, do you know, at that time, my podcast was number 92 in the nation.
Wow.
Back then, yeah. Just telling wrestling. Doing what everybody else does now, but I was like one of the first ones to do it. But I didn't do wrestling stories and, you know what I'm saying, in a serious fashion. I would make the shit as funny as hell because, hey man, that's just me. It's kind of like when you're sitting around with your family reminiscing about stuff that happened in childhood, you know what I'm saying? Where it was funny when a dog was chasing you, David, when Miss So-and-so German Shepherd was chasing you. I mean, you scared to death as a kid, now you're a grown man. We can't talk about it like that no more, you know what I'm saying? We just laugh about it.
Right.
So that's the same thing I did with wrestling stories, you know? Because if you do them serious, they're not funny.
Right. Yeah, you got to, and it's got to be entertaining anyway. You got to have fun, otherwise.
Well, that's the thing. You're 100% right. Matter of fact, last night, people try to get me to do it on my podcast. So last night, I gave them a story. Brother. My producer, he couldn't stop laughing, man. He couldn't stop laughing. Because my producer's on the show with me, you know. And his name is Mr. Producer. He's a character. So I told a story about me and Jerry Flynn. Back in the day, the guys used to always want to go. In Atlanta, I go to the black strip clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. You remember Rocco? Rocco Rock?
No.
You don't remember Rocco? Oh, man. What was the name of his tag? He was in the tag team. They started up in ECW.
Public Enemy.
Yeah, Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
Remember the one with the dark hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rocco, man. Man, I miss him so much, David, bro. We had so much fun together. We beat each other up in the ring and then go out at night, you know. And Rocco would go to the black strip clubs with me. Okay?
Yeah.
And boy, we had so much fun. This place was crazy. When I say crazy, I'd have been to stuff all over the world. This was the craziest place I've ever been in my life. You know, the people know you because the black strip club. I'm a black guy, so everybody knows you. And I walk in the place, and the DJ would get on the mic and go, hey. Hey, everybody. Stevie Ray just walked in the house. Stevie Ray just walked in the house from Harlem Heat. Y'all know who he is. Look at it. Look at this is the dude show. Look at that big motherfucker over there. Yeah, don't come in here and act like you ain't got no money either.
Oh man. Put you on blast right away.
This is true stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking at you, hey man, you're dapping you up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I heard about that new contract you just.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this that's what I'm trying to tell them. So first time Teddy went with me, we had so much fun, brother. The thing is crazy. He goes back and tell all the guys, you know what I'm saying, that work with us, that, you know, how much fun we had. So then different guys start asking me, hey Steve, we do a TV tape. Hey Steve, you going to the club tonight? Can I go with you? Hey man, I can't be known hanging out with a whole bunch of white guys at the black club. I didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying? It was the one night me and Jerry Flynn went with me, man, and all hell broke loose in the club, man. It was the craziest thing. And I told that story last night about how these guys, and the guys in this club, they walked around with shotguns. Not a pistol in the scabbage. The jokers walked around with shotguns, man. It was serious. But man, David, I'm telling you right now, I never had so much fun. On Wednesday nights at 2:00 in the morning, everything stops. And they got a boxing ring in the middle of the club. Up until 2:00, the girls are dancing in the boxing ring, right?
Yeah.
At 2:00, everybody got to get out the ring, and they start what they call knock a bitch out night.
What? Oh, you got to tell me about this now. Knock a bitch out night.
Dog. Oh, David, I can tell you. Oh man, I can tell you some stories that'll blow your mind, man. The funniest one is one with my brother.
Oh man, what happened?
Oh man, I couldn't tell this one. I couldn't tell this one on the show because, you know what I'm saying, his wife and shit like that. Yeah, you know, I didn't want nothing to get back.
Oh yeah.
But I've told it to people individually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's been several years now, and I'm not doing it. But that's why I never did it on my show. You know what I'm saying? But Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ, man, that was the fun. I'm gonna tell you something. That night, the one with my brother, I laughed so hard. Me and Ernest the Cat Miller was hanging out that whole night.
Shout out to
We started out over here at this place, then we went to this other place, and then we ended up at Nick's, the place where they do the knock a bitch out night. We was riding the whole night because he had this 5 Series S500 big body. And we was riding around in that all night, and I was like, man, this is nice. And so when I got home, I bought me one. And then my brother bought him one. So all same color, all black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all because of Ernest Miller. And because I had a Mercedes at the time, but it was a 2-door. You know what I'm saying? A few years earlier, I had one exactly like the one Patrick Swayze had on what was that movie he did when he was a bouncer?
Roadhouse.
I had the exact same car. Yeah, but anyway, that night, everything happened. I had to it felt like my head was about to blow off. I had been laughing and so into everything that happened tonight that I had gave myself a headache. I must have had, and I don't have high blood pressure. Brother, felt like my head was gonna blow off. I gotta get out of here and go get some aspirin or something. I went back to my hotel and went to bed. That was that night you could have did a movie. You ever seen those movies where everything happened in one night?
Yeah.
You could have did a movie on everything that happened to us that night. It was crazy. Oh my God.
I have to hear this offline sometime. I said, I have to hear about this offline sometime.
Me and Ernest still laugh about it to this day. No, I'll give you a smidgen of it. Okay. I'm not going to tell you all the stuff that we did before we got to what my brother was. Okay. But we walk into the club, right? Homeboy get on our ass, the DJ guy. He get on there. Hey, y'all, there goes Stevie Ray and Ernest Miller, you know, blah, 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 you know, this, that, and the other. And the place, this ain't like no regular strip club. This place is packed. It's shoulder to shoulder. Most strip clubs, you know what I'm saying? You got people sitting down. It's all dark and you know what I'm saying? The girl dancing and stuff like that. Not this place. This place was like a cross between the Freaknik and Studio 54. This place was crazy, man. And it's totally new. Totally. So the girls are walking around like nothing. Totally new. Then every now and then you see somebody with something on, maybe a G-string or something like that. It was cool as hell. But anyway, I've met some of the coolest guys in this place, man, that I stayed friends with for years, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't stay in Atlanta, you know, and you meet people and stuff like that. And when you come to Atlanta, you know, you hang out, go eat. It was cool, man. I really miss, those are some of the things I miss about professional wrestling, man. Some of the friendships I made with people outside of the business, you know.
Yeah.
But we in there, man, there's zigging people in there, man. We go to the bar, get a beer. And then Ernest say, hey, Stevie, isn't that your brother over there? And you got to realize there's zigging people and you got to kind of look through people. I'm like, no, man, that ain't my brother. He not even on the road this week, you know? And he was like in a booth with this guy was in a booth with a whole bunch of girls. And I said, that ain't my brother, man. You know, because he was looking at the backs. And then Cap did it before he had the brace and stuff. And the Cap was like, oh, okay, yeah, you probably right. And then I think the song kind of changed. The song kind of changed where everything kind of went down for a second. Then Cap was like, man, Stevie, that is your brother, man, look. And I turned around and I looked, because my brother wasn't even on the road. So what would he be doing here?
Right.
And I'm like, you right, that is him. And so we made our way over there to him. And he was so drunk, he didn't even know who we were. Cat said, man, your brother drunk as hell, man. I said, yeah, I see. You know what I'm saying? So he got like 4, 5, 6 girls in the booth with him, you know what I'm saying? So we was like, ain't no need to bother him. He don't even know where he at anyway, you know what I'm saying? And then they started to knock a bitch out night. You know, everybody had to get back. Now the club is super packed, man. You know what I'm saying? And they started it's not the strippers boxing. It's girls that's got boxing licenses.
Oh, real boxers, real women boxers. Wow.
With the headgear and the whole thing. Because there's a boxing gym not too far from where this place were, and they would have their girls go in there and compete against each other. So the first two girls come out, and they going at it, man, and dig this. They had commentary. Guess who the commentary was?
Who?
The DJ. The DJ is doing the commentary. Okay, let's get these bitches in the ring.
This is awesome.
This is true, David. I know it sounds like I'm making it up, but this shit is true. Okay, let's get these bitches in the ring. All right. We got so-and-so in this corner. Where's so-and-so? We got so-and-so in this corner. Where's so-and-so? Okay, when the bell ring, y'all come out fight. This the DJ guy. You know, not only is he the DJ, he the announcer, and I seen him over there serving food.
Man, he doing some of everything.
I seen him over there serving, because they serve food in here too. Oh my God, and drinks, everything, brother. So ding ding, the girls start fighting. Boom, boom, boom. And him, the DJ, the announcer guy, he's like, okay. Oh, okay, hit that bitch. Oh, she caught her with a left. All right, the bitch is hurt.
The bitch is hurt.
Everything was the bitch. You know what I'm saying? Man. I'm dying. Me and Ernest, we are laughing so fucking hard. You know what I'm saying? Because we're listening to this guy, we're looking at this at the same time. And my brother drunk as fuck right and don't even know where he is right over here. But shit, you can't make this up, bro. So, ding, ding, they stopped. I think they only went 2-minute rounds or something like that. And then my brother, so drunk, he goes up to, it's only 3-round fights. He goes up to the one girl that's right by where his booth is. You know, where her stool was. Okay. And they didn't have corner men. And so my brother goes up and he starts, the girl that wasn't doing so good, he goes up and he starts, you know, you see him telling, you know,
oh
and
my
then
God.
We
he decided to step into the quarter man.
Yeah, he's the second now. He's the trainer. You know what I'm saying? Me and Cat look at each other. Cat say, "Hey man, what's your brother doing, man?" I don't fucking know. But we can see his hands and his movements. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he telling them what to do. Don't come out and move this way, stuff like that. And then the DJ dude was like, "Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute, Harlem Heat. Is that your bitch?" Admit that, dog. That's like I say. I'm thinking about this right now. My head is. I've got a headache. I'm laughing. So this shit's incredible, even for me. And I've seen it all and did it all. This is incredible. And he was like, "Is that your bitch? Okay, well, get your bitch in here, man. Get your bitch in here, cause the bell about to ring." Ding ding. Girl got back in there, and she came out smoking. I mean, the audience and everything, you know what I'm saying? Everybody looking at this. The audience started popping, man. Because she doing better in the next round, you know what I'm saying? Right, everybody started pulling for her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is incredible, man. I said, this shit should have been on tape somewhere. Because me telling this story not even doing it justice. The whole club started popping, dog. Just like a wrestling match when the babyface started coming back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ding, ding, and my boy's doing his thing. Okay, oh, she coming back. Oh, hit that bitch, blah, blah, blah. and then the bell rings. The whole club doing this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, because that first round, homegirl got her ass good. You know what I'm saying? Then here come my brother again. You know what I'm saying? He's a drunk version of Emmanuel Stewart right now. You know what I'm saying? He's giving us some more gimmick and stuff like that. Giving her the words. Me and Cat, my head about to blow off. I'm like, this is not even happening, man. This can't even be happening. Okay, Harlem Heat, get your bitch back in here. The bell getting ready to ring. Bing, bing. She came back. Now the whole crowd into it. Woo, woo, woo. She was doing pretty good, and all of a sudden, a left hook. I never forget. All of a sudden, the left hook, wham! And brother, she went down and couldn't get back up. And everybody was like, "Oh," you know what I'm saying? And it was over. Winner, the dude on the mic. The winner, so and so. And the crowd was kind of out of it. Kind of felt bad for her. Then the DJ guy like, hey, Harlem Heat. He never called him Booker T. He just called him Harlem Heat. Hey, Harlem Heat. From now on, whatever you do, don't bring no more bitches to my club. Oh my God. Then he went back to the booth. Well, I don't know how much money he done spent tonight. You know what I'm saying? But the dude told me, because I asked one dude worked. I said, "Man, how long my brother been here?" He said, "Man, your brother been here since this afternoon."
Oh my!
I'm like, what? This afternoon? And then me and Kevin, he's not even on the road with us this week. You know what I'm saying? He's at home. So man. That's a true story. Another Stevie Ray story. That's what I always say on the show. Another Stevie Ray, pro wrestling story. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that was a true story. Then he went back over there and started drinking with those 5-6 gals he had in the booth with him. Do you know we never discussed this? Because I don't think he ever knew I was there. I don't think he knew I was there.
Oh, man.
I think he thought we was fans asking him for an autograph or something. He know what me and Kay, he know who we were. He had no idea. Especially after homeboy had told us. No, because the dude told me that before we even went over to holler at him, to talk to him. Dude by the bar. He was getting drinks for people. And I was like, man, because I was like, once we figured out it was him, I said, man, how long my brother been here? He's like, oh, Booker T. I said, yeah. He's like, man, he been here since this afternoon, since I started work. So don't ask me, bro. Don't ask me. That's a true story, though. Yeah, I just put one out. If I can see it on either my page or put it out on YouTube, of me interviewing Perry Saturn when I saw you at the WrestleCon.
I think we lost him again.
Oh, okay. Now you see why my podcast was hot, huh?
Right?
I used to tell those kind of stories, man. But I had a co-host. Mm-hmm. And verbally it's better when you're talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because he can ask little questions in between and stuff like that. We had a lot of fun with that show, man. Stand up for greatness. You can still pull a lot of the videos. The guy was talking about title match. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can still pull a lot of his stuff up, man. He got his own network.
The title match. I helped him out long ago.
Oh, really?
He was having some monetization problems. I want to say it was like 2018. And YouTube's a whole mess with stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I had some of the same stuff. Matter of fact, I might want to talk to you about my podcast I do now and see what you got. See what you guys are doing as opposed to what we're doing.
I'd be happy to help out.
Okay, that'll work, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
David, you still there?
I'm back. Hey,
man, that's some of the, huh?
I don't know if we overloaded the server or what. What's going on?
Well, those are some of the kind of stories I used to tell on the show.
Oh,
true wrestling stories. Like I said, I just put one out on Perry Saturn, but I let him tell it. Perry Saturn was so drunk one night at another strip club. I think we was in Detroit. He's so drunk and so out there that he jumps up on the dance floor where the girls are.
This is at a strip club. Oh my goodness.
And Sonny Ono was with me, and Sonny goes, Hey Stevie, Perry's on the dance floor. I turn around, I look. Oh my God, man. I'm like, brother, it was like I was watching American Bandstand in 1968, I was like, so I look at the bouncers, I'm like, okay, they're getting ready to go fucking get him, you know what I'm saying? So I made a beeline to the dance floor and I got him off the dance floor, man. And then I just waved my hand up to them like, hey, man, I got him. You know what I'm saying? I got him. Yeah. Trying to keep him out of trouble. You know how these guys are in these clubs. They want to beat somebody up all the time, man. Yes. They try to impress the girls, Yes. But the girls didn't care. They were kind of frightened for a minute, but after they see the dance, they were like, oh, no, we ain't got to worry about this dude, Not after them two left feet, man. and Perry was telling that story for my channel when we were at WrestleCon. He said, I'll never forget it. When you got me off the floor, you asked me, hey, man, are you listening to the words of the beat? He said, I'm doing my white boy dance. I can't dance, but he couldn't help it, man. He couldn't help it. He said, man, you saved me from getting beat up that night. And I'm like, man, me and Perry we've been tight ever since he came to WCW, man. We struck off a good just a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool dude, man. One of them dudes just make you laugh all the time, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know about you, but that's what I miss about pro wrestling. Those relationships, not in the ring, but out of the ring, man. It was cool.
Yeah. The friends you make there, it's like a brotherhood. And you spend so much time together too.
Right.
And I think also wrestlers are, we're a unique set of individuals, and then there's certain, commonalities that we have that we don't share with other people. And so
that's true.
It just makes for, because there's wrestlers I'll meet that maybe I didn't work with before, and then we click right away and just pick up because we just got similar patterns, similar ways of thinking on things.
Right. Yeah. But hey, man, That's a prelude. Let the people know. That's a prelude to Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray Tuesday night on Stevie Ray TV on YouTube. What you heard tonight was a prelude to that, and a lot of things would be similar, but it'd be David and I really going. I'm going to start it from beginning to end. I'm coming up with a whole bunch of stuff ain't nobody heard. It's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, and you let the people know, man. I'll be sending you a flyer either later tonight or earlier tomorrow, and you can put it on you guys. What's your producer name?
Steve. His name's Steve.
Steve. You can let Steve do his magic and put it out there, and man, we have a bunch of people because I do the show live. And oh, wait a minute, is your show live?
This is live right now. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been live the whole time.
Oh, I didn't know. See, that's why I was skeptical about what to say.
Oh, yeah, no, you good. Yeah, we've been live
okay.
the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometime I go off, but I started talking about some different things on my show, and I shut it down for close to a year. I just started back about 7-8 episodes ago because I got burnt out. I kind of got burnt out, but they started monetizing a lot of my stuff because I started talking about, I never really did the O.J. Simpson stuff, but I talked about other things. I talked about 9/11 because I'm a big 9/11 guy, and I talked about a lot of
talk about that. Yeah. We'll have to get into that too.
Okay, and I talked about JFK. I've talked about Vietnam. I've talked about World War II. Talked about so many different things. Oklahoma City bombing. So many different things that I know of psyops because so much stuff don't make sense. And, it is what it is. And then they started monetizing everything I put out there. I even did another buddy of mine podcast, and he was like, man, every time we put your stuff out there, people didn't even know it was out. So I said, brother, they're monetizing me because I've talked about a lot of controversial things over the years, man, and I didn't even really know they were doing that to me until one of my buddies figured it out. So
wow,
it is what it is, man. So now I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful, and because I know we think we live in a free world, but we really don't. To me, especially social media used to be something good and glorious. Now it's just like everything else now, bro. You don't want to say the wrong thing at the wrong time and get the wrong people pissed off at you. And so I'm trying to be a little bit more careful about it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything. We definitely going to do this on your show, and we're going to go deeper. I got way more in the clip. I was holding back on OJ, so we can go all through this. Before
I'll tell you this too. Think about this. Remember the docudrama they did with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yes.
But do you know they did another movie right after this stuff happened?
I don't recall.
Yeah, they did another movie. This was back when everything went down. This is before the trial even was over or started. Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go check that out.
So if you think about it, look how much traction. Remember, ESPN did that O.J. Simpson Made in America or something like that?
Yep.
2-part deal?
Yep.
So look at how many people are still making money off of this. Now O.J. is dead. Yeah. And he never got a chance to recoup nothing. Everybody made money off the man and excoriated him at the same time. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, brother,
it's definitely
I can't wait.
A money maker and has been. Before I let you go, I gotta ask you this because this just happened. This happened in real time. It happened yesterday, but the Carmelo Anthony case out in Frisco, Texas. I know you live in Houston.
Yeah. But I got a lot of family in Dallas. That's a suburb of Dallas.
So yeah. I want to get a feel for what it's like there. And if people don't know this, there was a stabbing at a track meet. Carmelo Anthony is black. The individual who lost his life, Austin Metcalf, was white. He had a twin brother. There was some kind of altercation of physical. It's being reported as a push, some kind of physical touching, to which Carmelo responded by stabbing Austin Metcalf one time with a pocket knife And unfortunately, Austin Metcalf lost his life. And then yesterday, and they're both 17 years old. Yesterday, the verdict came down. The jury found Carmelo Anthony guilty of murder and sentenced him to 35 years in prison, eligible for parole after half-time served, so 17 and a half years. The big news on it was the jury was an all-white jury that convicted him, and there was no cameras allowed in the courtroom. It's been very polarizing, with racial lines divided, but really outside of the court and on social media, because there hasn't been any evidence that the killing or the altercation in general was racially motivated. Haven't heard anything about that. But just wanted to get your take on it. What have things been like, in Texas? Like, what are people talking about? And, how do you feel about the verdict?
Well, this happened last year, if you remember. Mm-hmm. This happened about this time a year ago. So the only reason it's back in the news again is because they were getting close to the trial being over and stuff like that. Now it's national news again. Yeah. Up until then, man, you didn't really hear anything about it. I remember you heard about it when it first happened.
Yeah.
But then after that, it kind of subsided with everything that's going on. And it's like political pundits now control everything in the news now, everything, which is another psyop to me to make money, because I've never seen political banter turn into entertainment like it's turned into right now. A lot of people might not agree with me on that, but I've been following this stuff for a long time. So this plays right into the political banter. This plays right into it. Because like you said, it was an all-white jury, and we got people like who our governor is, that, they run on immigration and building walls and all this kind of stuff all the time. But then at the end of the day, I think this has to play into the narrative that has been pretty much pushed around Texas for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years now. So I told everybody, there's no way that kid is going to get off or get a light sentence. There's no way. And people will say, why? Well, he defended himself and stuff like that. I said, that only works when it's the other way around. And I know people don't want to hear that. But in the real world, that only works, especially here in Texas. Especially in Texas. Because Governor Abbott is a starch, put you in jail for nothing type guy. Always has been. And those are the kind of politicians that, pretty much run this state now. And with a big high profile trial like that, like I said, this kid ain't got enough money. He ain't got enough money. He just doesn't to get a fair trial. And even if he did have enough money, I still don't think it would have been too much different. Not too much. So that's just how I look. I mean, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday who lives in Dallas. And her and I were talking, and she does a radio show on Sundays up there. And I think that's what they was going to be talking about this Sunday. And she was asking trying to get my sentiments also. And I was like, bro, I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry for the kid because, see, we can't, in a lot of ways, defend ourselves legally, but everybody else can. Yeah. That's Texas. That's the politics of Texas. This has been going on for years, man. This ain't new. It might be new to the rest of the nation, but it's not new in Texas. Not at all.
And it's really unfortunate, especially, obviously it's unfortunate that anybody lost their lives. Austin Metcalf, prayers go out to his family, and Carmelo Anthony now has, his family has lost him too, for 30, 35 years. And it's a tragic situation. And, he definitely, deserved to be punished, but I don't know if murder fit. I more so saw it as being,
was it murder or was it manslaughter?
No, they found him for murder. They found him guilty of murder.
Okay. That's exactly what we were talking about yesterday. Because I said I didn't know. Oh, he was found guilty, but the what they were going to charge him with hadn't came in yet. That's what it was.
Yeah, so he ended up being found guilty of murder. They could have, manslaughter was on the table, which was a reckless disregard, which to me sounded like it fit more, because I just had a hard time.
That's what I thought also.
That Carmelo Anthony intentionally tried to kill
Right, with malice.
Right, and it was a pocket knife. He only stabbed him once. It's not like he stabbed him repeatedly and he ran away. Was it the right decision? Clearly not. But it seemed more like it fit the elements of manslaughter clearly. But then here's the other thing. Murder in Texas, you just have to prove that it was intentional or that he knowingly committed this, knowing that it could lead to death, which is pretty low. The facts are pretty clear there on that part. But then it carries a sentence range of 5 to 99 years. But then there's a thing in Texas called sudden passion, which after the fact that he's convicted of murder, it could have reduced the sentence from first degree to second degree, which means that his sentence could have been from 2 to 20 years, and basically showing that he was overwhelmed with emotions in kind of like a heat of passion is really what it is. However, the jury did not agree with that, and they sentenced him to 35 years, which was
no way. He didn't have a chance, bro.
And they only
what was that?
They only deliberated 3 hours or less.
Right. And I'm not trying to excuse what he did, but what I'm saying is he never had a chance.
Yeah.
He never had a chance. It was going to be whatever they could get the most out of that or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're telling me all 12 people, and you can find that not that it would have made any difference anyway. It wouldn't have made any difference. That I know for a fact. But 12 people, that's a little extreme. That's a little extreme.
It is.
But
his defense raised a Batson challenge, which is where they allege that jurors were being struck because of race, but the prosecution said, for example, the last 3 black jurors that were struck were all educators. So they gave a different reason. Is that the real reason? I don't know. Because there was a teacher who was allowed on the jury. The prosecution.
Pretty sure we lost him again.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. I'm going to have to go over there. I'm going to have to go over there, fix up that iMac. He is the same iMac I have.
Oh, really?
Just on the article.
Yeah.
BBC is saying he had a 4.0. I heard 3.8 reported.
I heard 3.7, 3.8, something like that.
Like well over a 3.5, which is the issue at hand I've always felt with this case is that he, in order to be tried with murder, you have to show a level of premeditation that you intended to murder.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the same thing I'm thinking. But it was almost like no self-defense at all. Not that you premeditated, but you wanted to kill him regardless. Not that you really thought about it for a long time, but in this situation right now, I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Almost like he was in that fashion, which, hell, you can't get in somebody's mind. But what this whole situation had started, if it wasn't for the situation that started before it got to that. That was always my question. Would this even be to this level? Because I'm like, why does a guy carry a knife with him?
Well, a pocket knife. There are a lot of reasons to carry a pocket knife that aren't murder.
No, I'm talking about him because he's in a school district and he's at a school where people are very, very well off. Very affluent. You know what I'm saying? Upper middle class. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need a knife for the track meet? Now, I'm not saying he can't have a knife, but I would just like to know.
I think that was a major question that the jury did not have answered. And I think that's part of what led to him being convicted, because normally as a defense attorney, you don't often want your client to take the stand. However, in defense cases, this is the one time where you really you want your client to take the stand for the most part, because the jury wants to hear from that person, that individual, how he feared for his life, because that's what it turns on. He has to show that he feared that he was in imminent bodily harm or potentially, could be killed. And that justified responding with lethal force. And so I think that's something that the jury wanted to hear, or at least explain why he had the knife. That's something that stuck out to me, hearing that was why did he have a knife, at a school track meet? Like, the facts did not look good for him.
Right.
And so he needed to explain that. Those are answers I wanted too.
Well, my thing is, did he have the knife? Because this is just a question I'm asking. And this is what I was trying to explain to Steve. Do you have a knife because a lot of people just carry a pocket knife? Or did you have the knife because you've been in situations with these people before?
That's a great question. And see, that's what we don't know. And that's what I was hoping the defense would be able to, I don't know, put forth shed some light on that. Whether if it wasn't the defendant taking the stand, some witnesses being able to say that, because without that information, the jury is left to make up their own mind. And it doesn't sound good, because all we know is he did have a pocket knife in his bag, and he said something to the effect of, "Don't touch me or else you'll find out." And he reached in the bag and had the knife and then struck one time.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Wow, man.
Yeah. It's a sad situation, though.
This is what I call the new frontier, bro. And people always ask me, what do you mean the new frontier? I say, because you can't be surprised by anything anymore. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. And what's level is inverted. That's the new normal. If that makes sense. That's the new normal to me. And you're seeing it everywhere. Not that this case was anything different than that, but I'm just saying all the auspicious things that's attached to it in so many different ways. Like, wow, okay. But that's why I was saying up in Dallas, in that area, he ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
He ain't got a chance, man. I didn't think it would be this severe, though. But I knew he wasn't getting off. That I knew for a fact. He ain't getting off. But they dropped the hammer, man. They dropped the hammer. And every time you see something like that, like a Michael Brown, that was another one that I talked about on my when I was doing the Black and White podcast with Vince Russo. That was another one I talked about that people never got the whole angle on. And a police officer can kill somebody for no reason, with unarmed. And you can just kill a man, a boy actually, that's just walking down the street. And then the kid that was with Michael Brown that testified, he told CNN, they shouldn't have never let him talk. He told CNN everything that happened because he was walking right with him. And then when that kid, the next time they talked about that kid, you know what CNN said? Whatever his name was, they called him the controversial. That's when I knew this shit is a fucking work, man.
Yeah.
Controversial. He didn't even have to talk to y'all. And what kind of kid is going to lie about something that just traumatized me? And my best friend just got killed in front of my face, and I got time to lie about something, and it just happened?
Right.
This is what common sense comes into play. What kind of 18-year-old kid, 17, and the guy was so articulate supposed to be a street kid. The guy was so articulate. He told them everything that happened to CNN. I don't know who told him to do it. If it was my kid or if I knew him, I would have said, do not talk to the media. Do not talk to the media at all until you get an attorney. Yeah. But he did this right after everything had happened. Yeah. And he articulated everything that happened. So the cop pulled up and told him to stop walking. He said to stop. The cop got out and grabbed him. Because remember, they were saying he grabbed the cop and was trying to put, who gonna go through a window to grab a cop that's driving?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you remember that stuff about him going to the grocery store, the little convenience store, and had stole some stuff or this, that, and the other. They trying to paint him as an ogre. You know what I'm saying? A mean young kid. Come to find out that store with those little Pakistani or whatever kind of Indian guys, whoever they were, was selling weed out of the store. This never came up. Like I said, I do my digging. And he did some horse trading with him, and he went back and was asking for, you know what I'm saying, his money or whatever. And they didn't want to give it to him because they didn't want the dad or whoever the older gentleman was to know that they was doing that. See what I'm saying? So he was like, well, fuck F y'all. Then he took some whatever. You see what I'm saying? He took some stuff from the store. So that's how that all came about. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But like I said, dog, like I did, so you like Perry Mason, okay? I'm like the dude with the white hair that worked for him. You dig?
Yeah. Hey, that's why we work. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was his name on the show? I can't remember. But you remember he used to go out and do all the digging.
Yeah, he's the one that
found out. And then Perry would put all the stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, this has happened. Yeah, that's what happened. So in essence, that kid was killed for nothing. And look how fast it's not in the media no more. None of this stuff came up. They're gonna make sure it don't come up because once they paint the narrative, it's got to stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he doing horse trading with the little young guys at the store. They renege on what they supposed to get for him. So what did he do? He just took some stuff that he thought was equal value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same thing. And you know, I grew up, studying the JFK assassination. And then today I see assassinations that a guy can try to kill a president. And 3 days later, we don't even know the guy's name no more.
Yeah, it is awful strange. I'll say that, how commonplace it's become.
Oh, well, assassinations is just like going to the grocery store now, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just ask questions. That's all. What's so wrong with that, man?
Man. That is a good point. That is a very good point.
And I do know this because I had a buddy of mine that I met in the airport in Atlanta years ago. He was Secret Service. I do know this. If you're the president and I'm Secret Service, you ain't got time to put your shoe back on. And you definitely ain't gonna have time to get a Black Power sign, okay? That's my job to take care of you. You don't like it, you fire me.
Yeah.
Serious business. You don't like it, you ain't getting that. No. If I have to put you over my shoulder, brother, to get you out of here, I'm getting you out of here. Somebody's shooting.
Right. Yeah.
That's real. That's real talk.
That whole situation was interesting. How it played out like a scene out of a movie, almost.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. If I'm Secret Service, from what I know about talking to Secret Service guys, David, you might be the talker. I'm the guy that saved lives and put my life on the line.
Yeah.
So you can talk later. The world ain't going nowhere no time soon. You can talk later. I got to get you out of here. That by hook or by crook. You talk about I got to put my shoe on, man. Fuck your shoe. You got 100 pair of shoes. What the hell is a shoe? As compared to a life.
Right.
It ain't no comparison. And I'm gonna let you say, oh, let me put my shoe back on, whatever. But I'm just saying, I just ask questions, man. That's all. That's all I do. When it don't add up, ask questions. And it ain't nothing against asking questions. No. Somebody told me, somebody once told me an airplane, a 757 airplane crashed, okay, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. 5 minutes later, 3 minutes later, 2 minutes later, wasn't no airplane there. So where did it go? But somebody told me that once. That's all. I just ask questions. I just seen an airplane a few months back. What was it? One of those airplanes that deliver all the mail and stuff. Was it crash in Tennessee or whatever it was, and it left fire and stuff forever? What was the difference? Everybody can see that.
Yeah.
I just ask questions. Sometimes stuff don't add up. And then they told me, well, when the airplane hit the ground in Shanksville, it went through the hard earth and buried itself. Oh, okay. Now I get it. See? That didn't take long, man. I get it. You know, if you tell me, whatever you say.
Went through and buried itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I got it, brother. You ain't got to tell me twice. Now, whether or not I believe that, I don't know. But that's what I was told. Yeah. So it is what it is, man. That's how I look at everything, David. I'm sorry. That's how I look at everything.
I respect that. I'm similar on that too. Yeah, you can tell me anything, but I'm going to check it out for myself. I'm not just going to believe what I've been heard. I got to do the research on my own and try to glean the facts out of it.
And I always do this. Just like the other thing that we've been talking about. Follow the money. Follow the money. Because nothing happens just because of osmosis. It's got to be some kind of financial situation behind it. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. Yeah. And when you follow the money, you're going to find something. You might find some things that you didn't want to find, but you're going to find out something.
The money is the one equalizer to everything, bro. Everything that we see happen on earth every day is some kind of money behind it.
Yeah.
It's got to be. If you go all the way back to World War I, slavery. You know what I'm saying? The War 1812. All of them has something to do with somebody, some entity trying to get some paper. The Civil War. The South, only thing the South had to do was share the money, share the wealth. See what greed do? Greed will make you fight and kill your own brother. And then try to say, I'm trying to free the slaves, man. I mean, come on. No, dog, you trying to get that paper. Well, however you want to put it, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Nah,
you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, baby, man. You know, well, okay, I'll go down in here. I'll go down in history as honest Abe did his job, dog. I mean, hey, you dude is honest. Let me free. Thank you, Abe. But for what about that paper with old Abe that stood up then? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, he said I'd rather deport everybody. That's what he said before the war. And if the North was so anxious to get us free, well, we're all for sale. Just buy me, baby. You want to let me loose? Just buy me, baby. I ain't that much. How much was a good slave going for back then? About $50? You could have afforded me, man. Come on, dog. I'm just saying, dog. That's just how I look at stuff, man. I mean, you know, I just ask questions.
Yeah, that's all we can do. Ask questions. Ask the right questions.
But hey, man, appreciate you guys inviting me on. Steve, you're a good producer, man. We're gonna have to hook up, man. I was talking to him about monetization on different things on YouTube. So
okay, cool.
And we'll go from now, brother.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you joining me, and everybody tune in. Tell everybody where we can find your channel, because on Tuesday,
hey, man,
that's where we're going to be.
Go to Stevie Ray TV. Say it again. Stevie Ray TV on YouTube. And that's where David and I'll be next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to be going over this, and we're going to be going over some more things. If David want to bring some more subjects in, baby, bring them in. I'm more than happy to talk about anything you want to talk about. But me and Mr. Producer, we got a few things we want to talk about also. But if you want to do this from time to time, certain subjects that went down, like I was just talking about Michael Brown, hey, we can do that because there's a zillion of them out there.
Yeah.
A zillion of them out there.
Yeah, we're going to start doing these. These are fun. Definitely have you back.
Hey, have fun with it, brother. As you can see, I never push stuff in a serious way. I always have to make it in a way where I'm talking about it, but I'm not really talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about serious stuff. That's the magic thing.
That is true.
Cool about it.
That is true. But I can't wait to get together with you. We finish this conversation, man. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining me. Everybody, make sure you tune in on Tuesday at Stevie Ray TV.
7 p.m. Central.